The fact is, disruptions are not going to go away. These demands from our customers, shippers are not going to go away. So it's incumbent on us to figure out what do we do to make sure we manage it. We manage our own experience and more importantly, manage our customers' experience as well.
Hello, and welcome to Speaking of Supply Chain, where we explore trends, current events, and innovations impacting the logistics and supply chain industries. I'm your host, Ellen Wood. In recent years, intermodal transport has become increasingly complex, with companies navigating unpredictable trade shifts, critical infrastructure constraints, and persistent labor shortages, and rising cargo security threats. Today, I'm here to explore these pressing challenges with Maneet Singh, CIO and Chief Digital Officer of Odyssey Logistics, who will share how advanced data-driven solutions can help businesses overcome these and other obstacles to keep their supply chains moving. Maneet, welcome.
Thank you, Ellen.
It's great to have you here. And this is going to be such an interesting conversation. But first, I want to get to know you a little bit more. And our icebreaker today is, what is the most recent book that you've been reading? And would you recommend it to others?
Yeah, sure. Thanks, Alan. I'm reading the book Never Finished by David Goggins. It's a pretty insightful book, and the author himself, he talks about his whole journey from where he started to how he became an ultra marathon runner. Now, I don't intend to be that, but but the lessons on mental resilience is very profound. So I would highly recommend that for any business person or people who want to do better in life to read that book. It's a good read.
I can imagine that takes quite a lot of perseverance and mental fortitude to get through a marathon. I am not a runner at all myself. You see those bumper stickers for marathons and half marathons, and I'm the one that says 0.0, I don't run.
I actually ran one last year.
A marathon?
Yes, I did. Yeah.
Oh,
that was tough.
That is a significant undertaking right there. Congratulations.
Thank you.
I will not be joining you in the marathon club. I apologize. That's just not something that appeals to me. I like being active, but running is not fun for me. It's just a slog. So the book I'm reading right now, I was actually talking about this on a previous podcast. Every year I reread a book series just for fun. It's a series that I really enjoy, and the books are very, very long. They're 1,000, 1,500 page novels, and there's 10 of them. And I'm on the last time I was speaking about it on the podcast, when we had this question come up, I was on book number 4. Now I'm on book number 5. And so it's the Outlander series. And I really love the story. It's an easy read for me. I enjoy, reintroducing myself to the characters as they come in and out of the story. So I reread it at least once a year, but especially when the author has a new book coming out. And right now she's working on the next book, and I enjoy reading her online updates about what's going on, and she'll post snippets of the new content in there. So it got me started this summer. And when I started a vacation, back in April, I started rereading the series again because I had some time to sit and read large books. But I really enjoy novels and series that go on for a long time. I find that once I get into a book, I want it to keep going. And just a single book usually doesn't do it for me. I've got to get interested in somebody who has a little bit more to share.
It sounds like marathon running, marathon reading for you.
Yes, I suppose that would be my marathon, is these very long books. All right. So we are on our topic today, which is not necessarily just transport, which is, a huge component of the supply chain, but really some of the digital components that are affecting the transport industry right now. We've got disruptions all the time. Right now in our political landscape, we've got some political disruptions with tariffs and supply chains making some sweeping changes to the way that they source and distribute their products. So port closures, how is data technology being leveraged to help customers get that flexibility or the visibility that they're talking about that's, endemic of supply chains right now?
Yeah, it's a very relevant and pertinent question, and it's a question every company is trying to come up to grips with in our industry at least. Ongoing disruptions are definitely putting unprecedented pressure on supply chains. It gets worse because the demands of shippers are not easing up as well. They want to have the visibility, they want to have more predictability and reliability of the work we do. The fact is disruptions are not going to go away. These demands from our customers, shippers are not going to go away. So it's incumbent on us to figure out, when I say us, the businesses, to what do we
Yes.
do to make sure we manage it. We manage our own experience and more importantly, manage our customers' experience as well. So at Odyssey, what we have been doing is focusing on things that we can control. And one of the things that we have been investing a lot in past year and a half is data. We have many systems, as most logistics companies do, but we are building AI-powered systems on our own data, so we can use that to be more predictable in how we service our customers. We can have the visibility that they want. So although the world around us is changing, we are able to manage how we service our customers. So that itself is almost like we are controlling our destiny. We are controlling the narrative and using data and technologies that we have at our disposal, adding AI on top of it as well to make it better for us and our customers.
Well, and it's interesting that you bring up AI. I mean, obviously, everyone is talking about AI. It's in every conversation now. But past the obvious AI, it's exciting. It's fun. It can automate several, logistical functions, route planning, returns, those types of things. What we don't see is how logistics providers or shippers use or think about AI. So can you tell us a little bit more about the AI that you're using in that case?
The thing with AI is AI has been there for forever, like for years and years. What's new or newer is the Gen AI, the LLM, the large language models that has made, because of the computation we have now available, it made it more ChatGPT type, like very more conversational AI, right? So businesses have been using AI for a long time. Logistics and supply chain usually has been lagging behind in the uptick of technology, but we have been using AI for years. Now we are using more of a conversational AI to make it even faster for our salespeople, for example, for our customer service people, for pricing people. So people that are using information that are stored in SharePoint and other places, it takes time to create a proposal. We have automated that using AI. Big component of using Gen AI is having control of our own data. So earlier I talked about how it is important to make sure we have data warehouse or data lake that takes information from all different systems, and it's in a structured way that it can be leveraged by Gen AI tools. We have done that now. So that enables us to have more conversational data access on our own data, which is where the real improvement is. We are able to give access to that information to our customers as well, so they can make analysis of their information using our data lake. So those things are some of the use cases we've been using. The route planning, the route automation, that is also in the works right now. We are building a platform that takes advantage of all these new technologies, data and AI, that's going to make us better for us and our customers.
One area where I know a number of supply chains are trying to use some of this data and analytics is in their sustainability practices, in their environmental regulations, and making sure that they are in alignment and within those regulations, which are becoming more stringent, and they're also just becoming more universal. It's not only certain geographies that are having to deal with this now. A lot of the new environmental regulations are looking both up and downstream to make sure that compliance is taking place across the supply chain and not just with holding the responsibility on one individual link of that chain. So how are you utilizing those data and that analytics monitoring tools in order to either measure or manage or reduce those types of emissions that I know companies are keeping an eye on?
Yeah. So sustainability is a major industry challenge. And, we talked about the demands that are there to provide this information. We take it a step further. We want to be more sustainable. So whether something's required of us or not, we want to do it anyway because that's the right thing to do for the environment. So it actually, if you do it right, it improves profitability as well. So what we have done in past is we started, we have a program called Project Cloverleaf. That's our proprietary program, where we started a couple of years back in at least reporting out on the carbon dioxide emissions on the lanes that we use. So that was going better, and then we can do it for each customers. Now we are able to, since we're building our own proprietary platform and we have access to our data, we are able to identify the lanes or the modes of transportation that are more sustainable. So we are able to provide to our customers what is maybe less expensive, or sometimes it's more sustainable approach, so they can decide. So using all the data analytics we have and the integrations we have built with our different modes of transportation, we are able to provide that service and that information to our customers as well. We also have rail as a mode of transport, which provides a much more sustainable solution. So we are able to provide options to our customers and then choose what's best for the environment or for the customer too.
Yeah, I imagine that kind of flexibility is a huge benefit to your clients because, when it comes to transport, yes, of course, there's an expense involved. There's a cost. There's obviously time, which is another factor that needs to come into it. But given that supply chains are being looked at from beginning to end in terms of their sustainability and carbon footprint, being able to pull that lever in the decision-making process makes that a whole lot easier for some of these companies that may have the additional time or may have the additional budget, but this is where they need to really draw the string a little bit tighter.
Absolutely. Doing the right thing is usually the right thing to do, and we are able to provide that capability to our customers as well, using technology that we have built.
So one of the risks of technology is, of course, cybersecurity. And it's just another one of those things, companies are being targeted left, right, and center with cybersecurity and hackers and, nefarious individuals trying to bring down the structures that we've worked so hard to build up. So these risks are getting hard to predict because they're just coming at us from all sides. When it's that uncertain, what does that cybersecurity strategy look like for Odyssey in making sure that data is maintained, but also safe?
Yeah, it's cybersecurity is doesn't matter how much investments you make in technology for revenue growth or high EBITDA initiatives. Cybersecurity continues to be the number one thing. One bad misstep and you pay a lot, right? So
yes,
you cannot undermine.
It's devastating.
Yeah, it takes years of work. It wipes away in a heartbeat if something goes bad. So we continue to invest in cybersecurity. The advancements in AI and Gen AI actually has made the cybersecurity threat even worse because there are much more persistent actors who can have different kinds of attack vectors. So we have been investing a lot. We have deployed different levels of measures across different access across Odyssey. So system-wise, we have done a lot of work already. Where we are doing more of is governance. Individuals continue to be the single point of failure on a lot of cybersecurity issues, and it doesn't matter how much technology you do, one click it takes it all out. So we have to do a lot more of user training with phishing, simulated phishing, and all that. We continue to double down on that. We actually have gone a step further, which I've not seen in any other companies. Our employee bonus is tied to the click rates. That makes it real for everybody.
Oh wow!
Yes, it's important, and if you have 2 more clicks, it counts negatively. So we have taken very seriously on all aspects. People being the number one aspect.
Okay, that is quite a stance to take. I like that. We had a cybersecurity training recently here within our company, and it was a little disheartening to see how many people fell for the trick messages. And I was just thinking in the back of my head, I hope it wasn't me, but I hope someone would have said something if I had. But yeah, they're coming faster and faster, and they look very real. I think that's the hardest thing, is that they look so real, and figuring out which ones are safe versus which ones are not, can really confuse a lot of individuals. So that's interesting that you're using that and bonusing based off of being that smarter individual. That's an interesting take on it. I really like that.
I fell for one of those tests myself, and my team had a field day.
That just shows how real they look.
Yes.
When they can fool the experts,
Yeah.
then it really is a true threat.
Yes. Yep. Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
one other thing, I guess that kind of leads into it. You're using multiple systems. It relies on, making all of those systems talk to one another and be able to access the information. How are your digital transformation initiatives, digital twins, Internet of Things, advanced analytics, I'm not sure which all you're using, are enhancing the interoperability of them? So, what makes it easier for these things to talk to each other? Is it making it more efficient and resilient for your clients? Tell us a little bit about those initiatives.
That's about a year worth of work.
Okay, well then let's maybe break it down into a high level.
Yeah. It's a very relevant question because again, when I joined a couple of years back, I had to look at entire technology landscape and figure out what's the most optimal approach, because
Mhm.
the easy answer is change it all, and that's the most expensive answer too.
Start
right?
over.
Start over. So that's what wasn't going to work. So where I settled on was having a ecosystem that is interconnected and driven by data. So connected systems and integrated data. That was the mantra that we started. We have been upgrading a lot of systems that have been outdated. So obviously those things had to be done. But once we have the data in place and we started building our platform I talked about, there are few things we have been doing is having tight integration within our systems and also systems with the customers, whether it's API or EDI or what have you. We are doing a lot of those investments as well. So that way, for our customers, the transaction is seamless. If they have ERP systems and the supply chain systems, we connect with them directly, so they don't have to log into our system. So we're making those experience much more seamless. Within, I know we do use digital twin on certain few things like a network optimization process. So we have customer data, so we can look at all the information and create digital twin and optimize what makes sense. And we have built a platform now for a few of our customers, and we have helped them save millions of dollars in operating costs using that. So we are using all tools at our disposal. Haven't used much of IoT yet, but that's coming up next as well. But between advanced analytics, digital twins, Gen AI, those are the technologies we have been using to get better across board.
And you mentioned when you started that the easiest way would have just been to, start over from scratch, everything new. But technology adoption in supply chain tends to be on the low side. These are companies that are a little bit averse to those types of implementations. It's a big lift. To your point, trying to make them work together is a huge task, but trying to put one in is also, a big undertaking. So for supply chain leaders who are looking to improve their overall digital strategy, what's a practical first step that can help them really make an impact when they're considering a technology adoption?
Yeah. So I have a rather unique view on adoption, because technology adoption is a very common phrase used in most companies. I believe that if you are talking about adoption, we already lost the game, because I believe in you implement technology where the business wants it. So they can't wait to have it. So you're not talking adoption. You are talking that, all right, are you using or not? And if not, why did you ask me to do it? So it's more of a tighter alignment with the business before you start that investment. It's not like you build a shiny toy and wait for people to come and use it. Especially our industry, we don't sell technology. We use technology. So it has to be driven by usage and very tightly aligned with the business. So, for example, when I joined here, obviously the option was to start over. Not going to happen. I started with a tech audit, like a very comprehensive audit of all systems and processes and people, and to understand what are the issues that we have. Just because we have an old system doesn't mean you have to replace it. But what is the value you're going to bring it? So it took me 2-3 months to go through the process and make sure that I was aligned with business. They understood why we had to make the changes. And there's a time to make the changes and then what's coming out of it. So first few months, we spent a lot of time in getting the alignment. And after that, I've been very thankful that the partnership I have with my business counterparts in Odyssey is the best I've ever had in my life, which is pretty cool. I mean, in our industry where the adoption is an issue, here, our business users, they can't wait for us to deliver things because they're going to use it and they can't. So I often say that I want my business users to be mad at me because I'm not moving fast enough. That to me is success.
Well, I wouldn't call people being upset with you success, but I can see where you're going there. That, when they are the ones driving the need for the technology, then your adoption rate, that their buy-in is already established. You don't have to sell anything to them. They're ready for it. They want it. And they're the ones leading the charge rather than some technology person, salesperson, C-suite coming in and saying, hey, we're going to do this. It's not from top down, it's bottom up.
Absolutely. Most of the programs that I have, there's a business owner and a technology owner. The business owns the outcome, technology drives the execution. And that way the adoption thing is resolved in the get-go. There are things that IT would push for, server upgrades and cybersecurity, but even those, people need to understand why you're doing it so they don't question it. So that it takes effort, upfront alignment. But once you get there, it becomes, you're focusing on execution, not all the other things around, why is IT asking me to do things I don't want to do?
So I guess, the last point, as a chief technology officer, chief information officer, what would your biggest piece of advice be to our listeners as they're evaluating different technologies for different aspects? It might be for, transportation, or it might be for, just something, like you said, data security or sustainability, something else like that. What would your number one piece of advice be for our listeners?
It's the philosophy you bring to the table as a chief anything, like chief technology or digital officer, is think business and technology as a solution. Don't think technology and how to use it. Why are we doing it? Technology in itself, unless you're a technology company selling technology in itself is not a solution. It's not what you sell. We enable business. So think business, use technology.
I love that. That's going to be the catchphrase for this episode. All right. And that does bring us to the end of today's discussion. Thank you so much, Maneet, for joining me and talking a little bit more about some of this technology and what's available out there in terms of transportation.
Thank you, Ellen. I enjoyed the conversation.
To our listeners, if you found today's episode valuable, be sure to follow Speaking of Supply Chain wherever you get your podcasts and share it with someone who's shaping the future of operations. Until next time, keep your data flowing and your cargo rolling.